Hello, everyone. My name is Noah Lucart, and today I will be presenting my Leading by Teaching project, my PowerPoint. This will focus on how nurse leaders can promote personal health care through education. My real goal for this is just to show how leadership and teaching that they can all come together for the best overall health and well-being. The power of leadership through teaching. As a nurse and as a provider, being a leader and teaching is one of the most powerful ways that we can lead others. Being a leader, it's often thought to be in a manager position, but that's not true. Just being a leader, it isn't just about managing somebody or something, it's about inspiring growth. Just growth in others. You can teaching empowers others to take ownership of their own health, whether it's patient education or mentoring coworkers or colleagues. Just effective teaching. It's a form of leadership that can produce long-term change, not just the short term. So, what's the goal of personal health care? Just the true goal of personal health care. It's to achieve an overall balance of body, mind, and spirit. They all work together as a whole. So it's not just about avoiding illnesses or staying as healthy as possible, being the best looking. It's really about striving for overall wellness, like wellness as a whole. As leaders, it's important because we can help others realize that personal health it's an ongoing responsibility, and it can have a reflection of just self-respect and discipline for oneself. It's not something that you can achieve in one day. It's really just it's a never-ending cycle. You have to stay consistent. You always have to make adjustments. You're not just going to flip a switch one day and have the best personal health care you can have. It's always changing. Now, the opposite of this goal, just short and sweet, it's neglect. We'll say that. Just living reactively to any situation that is at hand instead of staying proactive and staying on top of health and wellness. When people ignore their emotional and spiritual needs and they just focus on like physical aspects, which is a pretty popular opinion whenever it comes to health, their health kind of deteriorates rather quickly. And as leaders in healthcare, we need to model the alternative, being intentional and being preventative and caring, not only for ourselves, but others, and setting that example for others. For a historical example, I think very popular is Florence Nightingale. I think she's one of the most powerful examples of leading by teaching. During the Crimean War, she transformed the way people viewed healthcare by linking sanitation and hygiene to overall survival. Her leadership, it wasn't just about implementing these policies that she had created. It was more about educating others to see health as both a moral and professional responsibility. She believed that good health wasn't just about abstaining from diseases, but it was more of the presence of balance between like physical cleanliness, mental, and moral strengths as well. She insisted on these proper hygienes and environmental care, which reduced hospital mortality drastically. And she inspired many generations of nurses just through her example alone. And we're still using many of her topics and ideas today. So what makes her relevant to this topic of personal health care is just her belief in self-discipline. She practiced what she taught. She wasn't just out there giving orders. She emphasized that health is something that must be cultivated daily. It has to be through conscious or consistent habits. She represented how personal health care begins with leadership by example. She didn't just wait for permission to teach. She saw a need, and first she modeled the behavior herself and then inspired others to follow her. Just this approach, this is why she remains so foundational in nursing today, just reminding us that leadership in healthcare, it always starts with self-care. Now for a more modern context, Michelle Obama, she's also an excellent example of how leadership and education can go into promoting personal health. Through her Let's Move campaign, which was launched in 2010, she focused on physical activity, healthy eating, and nutrition awareness among children and families across the United States. What stands out about her leadership is how she used her platform to teach, again, not just to tell people what to do, but to help them understand a why change was needed. She focused on reducing childhood obesity, improving school lunches for better nutrition, and increasing access to healthcare in underserved communities. So much like Nightingale, Michelle Obama understood that lasting change starts with education and being a good leader. Her message wasn't just limited to diet or just exercise alone. It was really about empowering families to take ownership in their own health and then to model those habits not just for their own health, but for their children's health as well. She demonstrated that education and emotional intelligence, empathy, that they're all hallmarks of a good transformational leader. And as nurse leaders, we can draw from that approach. We can use her as a model by recognizing the importance of meeting the people or our targeted audience at where they're at currently in their health journey, and then give them proper motivation accordingly. So steps to achieve personal health goals. Just real quick, it's assess, plan, act, reflect, and support. So these 5 steps, they're simple, but they are very practical ways to guide anyone towards better health, overall better health outcomes. Assessment begins with knowing one's current state, so where you're at currently in your own health journey. Planning sets realistic goals, and then action doesn't just look at the goals, but they create habits towards the goal. And then reflection, it ensures accountability in your own health journey. And then support, this creates a long-term success for that journey. And teaching these steps creates a structure for someone to go by, and it creates a plan, and then it also guides them along to just health maintain your goal and wellness over a longer period of time, rather than trying to have a quick fix and get everything the way you want it within a day. So the dimensions of self-care. Personal healthcare is, like I said, multidimensional, consisting of 4 domains as listed here: physical, emotional, psychosocial or psychological, and spiritual. And they all interact with one another. They're not just dependent on themselves. Leaders must teach the importance of tending to each aspect as a whole. One is not stronger than the other. It must be an equal balance. For instance, poor sleep, it can affect mental health. And then it can go to emotional burnout, and that can reduce motivation for physical wellness. So true self-care means nurturing one as a whole, not just one domain. So you have to have all these domains perfectly balanced to have the best overall health outcomes. So health is not only personal, but it's collective. Our behaviors, they don't only affect ourselves, but they influence families, coworkers, colleagues, and the community around us. When we model proper wellness, we not only do it for ourselves, but we also can inspire others to follow in our footsteps. And being a leader, you promote these environments where everyone can feel capable of improving their own health and supporting one another. Collective well-being, it can be almost considered the foundation of a thriving community as a whole. So leadership in teaching, this is more the nurse's role. So in nursing, leadership means serving others through compassion as well as accountability. As nurse leaders, we're not just supposed to give information to our patients or colleagues, but we're supposed to empower others and to do more with it, and not just keep the information, but to act upon it as well. Teaching is an act of more partnership and then trust from that partnership. Our credibility, it's worth way more whenever we don't just teach it to somebody, but we personally demonstrate the healthy behaviors that we are promoting to others. So value dimensions for learners. I think these that I have listed are very, very important. Beliefs, culture, and decision making. Every learner that you will come in contact with, they'll all have different values and different beliefs. Effective leadership, it doesn't just recognizes that there's a difference between one and another, but this respects them as a whole. Incorporating cultural awareness and allowing them to be included in decision making of their own plan. There's a relationship that's built with that, and it really ensures that teaching comes with their own lived experiences too. This aligns with the ethical, patient-centered leadership practice, which is very important. They have to want to get better for themselves, and having them be a part of it is a really effective way of doing that. So barriers and challenges, pretty much with any health journey or pretty much anything, you will always have these challenges. As nurse leaders, we can also face barriers, more common including time constraints, very, very common, differing literacy levels of others, and then limited resources. Overcoming these challenges, they require a creative and empathetic approach. We can simplify information, we can do things as use visuals, handouts, and we can involve more family for just a better reinforcement of learning if that's needed. The whole point of leadership is about finding solutions that make health education accessible, but not only accessible, but understandable to everyone so that they can actually use the information to better themselves. So leadership in action. This slide, it just highlights, leadership in action. True leadership happens when communication is clear, empathy is evident, and change is inspired for another person. Whether we're just teaching patients, students, or colleagues, it's really our tone and our attitude, and overall presence that can just drastically shape how others learn and grow and what they actually do with the information after you guys part ways. So my call to action to you, lead by example, teach through everyday moments, and empower health just one person at a time. Every conversation, whether it is a patient, whether it's a family member, a peer, colleague, whoever it is, it can be used as a teaching moment. You never know when someone is watching you, when someone's listening, just to the way you act or just the way you talk. So always be thinking about that. Always be setting an example. It's really important to remember that when we combine leadership with education, that we're not just sharing our knowledge, but we're giving them the option and the chance to change their lives for the better and have better overall health.